Hello and welcome. On today's show, we are going to talk about the basics of Disney Cruise Line. Hello, I'm Lauren Williams and I am the host of the Magical Travel Adventure YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you're here today. If you don't know, I am a travel agent or travel advisor and I make all types of videos. Some of them are basic overviews of things that I specialize as a travel agent, and others are based on information to help you make a better travel decision. Or I use money sometimes and real pricing to show you how you can get the best bang for your buck on your vacation. So please hit that subscribe button so you can learn more. And I hope to hear from all of you in the comments about what your favorite question is about Disney Cruise Line so I can make some more videos for you. So on today's show, we are talking about the basics of Disney Cruise Line. This is so basic. So if you've been on a Disney cruise, you don't need to watch this. You can move on to something else. This is just a basic overview of a Disney cruise, what all the information is for, not all the information, but some information on a Disney cruise just to help you decide, is this for me or not? That's all. So let's dive in and talk about the ships that Disney offers for cruising. So right now there are 4 ships for Disney Cruise Line: the Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy. The Wish is coming out in 2022, and for that sailing is going to start in June. I am not talking about the Wish in this. At the time of this recording, the booking for the Wish in 2022 has just opened up. So there's still a lot of information I don't know about the ship yet because it's not done. So I just know it's gorgeous and I want to get on it, but that's not enough information to add into this video yet. So when it starts sailing, I'll be able to put a video together for you for better information on that. So let's talk about the ships. So the first ship that came out was the Magic, and that started to cruise in 1998, and it's considered one of the classic ships. It has 11 decks. And one of the unique things about Disney cruising is that there's a rotational dining. There are 3 different main dining rooms that you rotate throughout your cruises. What that means is that when you get your Key to the World card or your room key, when you get on the ship, on the back, it's going to say, Monday, RR. And Tuesday, it's going to say LUM. And then AP for Wednesday night. What that's saying is where you are eating each night. So you're eating at Rapunzel's Royal Table on the first night, then you're moving to Lumineers, then you're moving to Animator's Palette. So those notations just say where you're eating those nights. And that's just Disney's way of making this experience awesome by having you go to at least three different restaurants while you're there, or main dining rooms when you're there. Your serving staff moves with you, so you have the same serving staff and the different dining options each night. So that is the part that's consistent. And whoever you're sitting with, if you are sitting with people, then those people also move with you to the different dining rooms throughout your stay. Now, if you are there for a 3-night cruise, you get to do each of the rotational dinings once. If you're there more than 3 nights, then you repeat some of them. So some people like that because there are specialty dinings areas that, if you're not a huge fan of Lumineers, then that night maybe you're trying to make a reservation at Palo, which is one of the specialty restaurants that you can eat at if you're an adult. So that's just a little bit on rotational dining and for the Magic. Now, if we move on to the Wonder, it's very similar. It came out in 1999, a year later, and it also has 11 decks. And its rotational dining are those Tiana's, Triton's, and Animator's Palette. So there are different locations. There are different dining options while you're there, depending on what ship you're on. Now, as we move into the newer ships, we move on to the Dream. And that started sailing in 2011. It has 14 decks, and that is the rotational dining, the Enchanted Garden, Royal Palace, and Animator's Palette. And then for the Fantasy, 2012, again, 14 decks, and it has Enchanted Garden, Royal Court, and Animator's Palette. So you'll see there's a lot of repeats on the different ships. So it doesn't mean that you're getting 3 totally different, brand new, unique dining rooms on each of your ships if you go on them. It's just that there are different options on different ships. So you might want to note that, or know, oh, if I have a huge Rapunzel fan, then hey, I better try and get on the Magic. Things like that. Now, what I will say is the classic ships, the Magic and the Wonder, some people, like, there is like a fan base for those that people absolutely love them. They think that it's great that they're smaller and they love them. Other people like the Dream and the Fantasy because they're larger. And people like that idea that they can have larger ships like that. And really, it's not larger ships, it's just more floors of more people. So there's just more people on the Dream and the Fantasy. There aren't that many more activities or things that people can do. What there is that Disney is famous for on their cruises are kids clubs. The kids clubs are free if your kids are above 3 years old. So looking at it, the kids clubs are, there's a Small World Nursery, which is for kids 6 months to 3 years old. That does, you have to make, I'm going to say you have to make a reservation, but I don't know how else to say it. You do, you make a reservation to have your kids there, and it does cost money. And that is mostly because that age is the most necessary, that they need so much more support, things like that. So that costs money. Now, as we move up and we go into the Oceaneers Club and Lab, that is for the 3 and 12 years old. And those are 2 different areas, the Oceaneers Club and the Lab, and the Oceaneers Lab. So your kids can kind of decide. On the first day, when you first get on the ship, there's like open house time. So you can go with your kid to preview these places and see if they might enjoy them. I haven't been on with my child because COVID. So he never got to the age where we could take him. I don't know how he would like going. He surprises me sometimes, but he's also very shy and he likes to be with us. So I don't know how much he would take advantage of the kids clubs, but then he's seen pictures of them and he wants to go to them. So I think that's the hard part, is that you can't be with your kids when they go to the kids club. They have to, it's not for adults, it's for kids. So parents have to leave their kids there without them. So you just have to know that, if your kid's going to be that shy kid or doesn't want to be separated from you, it might be harder to leave them in the kids clubs, because they will call you. If your kid's just sitting there crying the whole time for you, they're going to work as hard as they can to get your kid involved and not be sad that you're not there. But you just have to know your own kid and what they're going to be able to do. So if you have like teens or tweens and things like that, the Edge is open to kids ages 11, 14, and that's a little different. They have different offerings for those kids. And then the Vibe is for kids ages 14 to 17. And again, those are all separate spaces. They offer different areas and like video games and just hangout spaces for those kids instead, because that's what's most important to them. So you just have to see if that's what's important to your kid and if they want to go there. What I will say is the most important thing, moving on, is our staterooms. Stateroom categories. People are very interested in stateroom categories for Disney staterooms. And what I will say is the majority of the staterooms have what's called a split bathroom. That means that the sink and toilet are in one room, and then there is another small sink and a shower in the other part. And the point of that is that someone could be in the shower and someone could be using the toilet at the same time in the stateroom. So you just need to be aware of that. Also, if you have a taller person in your party, like my husband, he doesn't fit in the shower. It's not tall enough. So you might want to use the spa area or the gym shower instead. That might be easier because it's very tight. I will say that I'm about 5'8", and it's tight for me. So like I'm ducking down sometimes to get the water on my head. So just be aware of that when you book these types of cruises, that For the majority of the part, it's a split bathroom, so you have those separate spaces. There are some that are not split, so using a travel agent or researching it yourself is a great way to figure out what those rooms are so you can have it all in one bathroom. So let's look at these staterooms now. There is an inside stateroom that ironically is very sought after because they have these magic portholes in inside staterooms on Disney cruises, and they are video screens that show what's outside in the actual ocean or outside the actual cruise ship, and Disney characters swim by, do funny things on these portholes, and kids love them. Parents love them. Everyone loves them. So don't think that this is a typical inside stateroom. You do have those magical portholes. If all you can get is an inside stateroom, or all you can afford is an inside stateroom, then you take it and you enjoy those magic portholes. There is also a deluxe ocean view, and then so obviously that is just a large ocean view window that you have in your stateroom. It does not have a veranda or a balcony. If you want a balcony, you have to get ones that say with veranda. And there are different types of verandas. There's a navigator, which is, it's like a navigator. It has all this navigation equipment. It has maps. It just has a different type of a balcony that I don't want to say is obstructed, but you really might have to look out in order to see from your balcony based on it. Then there's just a typical veranda, and then there's a family ocean view with veranda, and all that means is that the family one is just a little larger in square footage space, and sometimes can accommodate 5 guests too, as opposed to just 4 or 3 guests in the room. So again, if you're more than a party of 4, make sure that you know that your stateroom can fit 5 people, or you need 2 connecting staterooms in order for all of you to fit. Then we get into the concierge level. There's a concierge family ocean view with veranda, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a royal suite. All those have access to the concierge. The concierge family ocean view with veranda is very similar to the deluxe family ocean view with veranda. The only difference is the price tag and your access to the concierge suite. So just know that when booking that in advance. Now, the last part that we're going to talk about is the Castaway Club. Castaway Club is Disney's, I don't want to say rewards program, but I don't know what else to say, but it's really their rewards program based on how many sailings you've done with Disney. And Disney does this Castaway Club very differently than a lot of other cruise ships do. Disney takes it very personally that they want people who have done repeat Disney cruises to have the best experience and get the first access to everything. So if this is your first Disney cruise, understand that these categories of people have all been able to book their cruises before you. They have had access to do their offshore excursions before you. They get to dining times, spa things, all before you do. So just know that in advance. There's no way to know how many people on your ship are any of these categories also. What I can say is that if you really want something, we can definitely work to get it. They save enough spots at all the locations, not always the excursions, but anything on the ship like the spa, the specialty dining, they save some spots for when you get on the ship that day, that there are spots available that you could go and ask if, hey, I really want a massage. Is there any time on my cruise that I can make it work? What you do need to do is be flexible in that time. Like if you say like, I want it at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, that might be a little hard. But if you say, hey, Tuesdays are at sea day. I know that, we could put my kids in the kids club from 5 to 10, any way that you can make that time work. Asking, being on a wait list, all those things, just try them. So let's talk about this Castaway Club. If you've never sailed, you don't have anything. If you've completed one sailing, when you go to book your second sailing, you are considered a silver member, which means you get to book before general booking is open for everyone for cruises. If you are gold, after your 5th sailing is complete, you are considered gold. So at your 6th sailing, you are considered gold and you get to that gold time slot when you can book your cruise. Platinum is after your 10th sailing, meaning at your 11th sailing you are considered platinum. Now these might change in the opening of the Wish sailings. They have broken down platinum into 3 or 4 different categories, so we can expect that that might change going forward, or in platinum there's going to be different levels going forward. And really, if it's your first time sailing on Disney, don't worry about that, I'm the last to book, things like that. You just need to be aware if it's your first Disney cruise, you want to try and book as early as possible. The best pricing for a Disney cruise is when it's first released. They do release about a year in advance, even a little more, a year in advance, and they do it by like season. They'll do like spring and summer together, winter, fall together. It's kind of hard to say because I don't know exactly what they're going to do because they did it a little differently this time. But going forward, they do kind of group the sailings all together with all their ships, releasing them all at the same time. So if there is something that is important to you, if you know when that regular time to book is, then have everything ready so you can book that cruise, or use an agent or an advisor so that you can get what you want. It might not be exactly the room that you want, but it might be the cruise that you want in the area in the ship that you want your stateroom to be. So there's a lot of information for Disney Cruise. I just trying to give you some basic information to see if you might be interested in a Disney Cruise, and we'll go from there. If you have any comments about Disney Cruise or anything you'd want to see in a Disney Cruise video, I'd love to know. I always want to try and make videos that are helpful for you, and I hope that you will subscribe. And if you'd like to use me as a travel agent, please click on the links below and I will help you get your vacation planned. I will see you next time on the Magical Travel Adventure YouTube channel.